because the kids were here yesterday and I can't find my selfie stick. So my third camera is attached to the lamp. So I want to thank all of you who joined us yesterday for Tool School. And there were some issues with it, but we're learning as fast as we can. And the good news is that it is going to be up for another 24 hours. So you can go there and learn from Judy. So, hey, there's Judy first on the list here. Hi, Judy. So let me show you what to do. Yeah, it was a little confusing, but we are learning, all right? If you want to go watch Judy Fredenberg's Tool School, which was excellent. I know that everybody who went, I think, got a lot of valuable information. Basically, in this tool school, she's going over all the different Quilters Select products, and she uses them differently than even I do. So you might have purchased something in the past, and all of a sudden you go, well, wow, I didn't know I could do that. So let's talk about how we do it. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to our main page, and you can see right there to the right hand side is Tool School. And you're going to click there. Of course, it's not alive right now. It was yesterday, and it is free too. Normally these events cost money if you're in a store. So you go there, and then what's going to bring it up is it's going to bring up a page like this. The part that to me was confusing is that you have to scroll down, because you're like going, where did it take me? Where is it? Scroll down. And what you'll find are there's two Judys, kind of. The top Judy to the right of where it says, let's go shopping, explains how to navigate this site. Below it, where you see the triangles, that is where the event is. And if you click it to play, you will be able to see Judy in her glory and with all her great, great information. Again, every time I see her, I mean, I can tell you how I use Quilters Select, but because she is a sewist, and a quilter, she has ways she uses the stuff that I don't, and they're fantastic. The other thing was, as far as mailing in the 48 states, that's where we could ship to. There's many, many reasons for it. My pants were kind of on fire. I thought it was one thing, but it's a myriad of things. What we were offering at the tool school yesterday were MAP prices, and they were drop shipping from Knoxville, Tennessee, and we had to come up with a price that would kind of satisfy the shipping. They don't usually drop ship, you guys, okay? And so as soon as you got into overseas, you had two issues. One of the issues is there are some places on USPS where they're not letting packages go to, I think because of the coronavirus, and vice versa, come back in. I don't know which those countries are. And then, like, for instance, because of the coronavirus, and we have done this before, we shipped to Israel and it got returned, and we don't know why it got returned. Well, we shipped again, and I'm wondering if it's my friend in Israel that I correspond with, and we haven't gotten it back. So we thought for this event, it just had to stay in the continent, 48 states. That said, the Quilt Show does have the ability to ship overseas to most countries under the guidelines of USPS. We are set up to be able to charge you accordingly and take care of all the little intricacies that fall into place when you are shopping overseas. Now, the shipping is going to be expensive, but Suzanne really watches that and makes sure that you are being charged what it costs, and that's it. So we aren't here to make money on shipping. We're here to get the goods in your hands as soon as possible. The biggie yesterday, if you missed it, was that in the crate or the pallet that has come from overseas, I'm excited to say that we have, oh, I got the popping noise. Okay. So many things to remember, John. Where are we? Let me take down the popping noise. Go down. Thank you, Cindy Needham, for teaching me that. I know a lot of you enjoy the 45 millimeter rotary cutter, which will take standard blades, though, as I've mentioned before, you might want to get ours because they're cheaper and they're of excellent quality, but the big boys in town. it was on the crate, the big boys in town. This is a prototype. I don't even have mine yet, and I'm so excited. It is weighted just like the 45, exact same weight. It will come with big boy blades. It will use the standard blades from other rotary cutters, but again, I would switch over to ours when it's time because you'll save a couple bucks. But I know, why are you a a prototype? Why aren't you the real thing? That's what I want to know. I got a box from Quilters Select today. I'm doing a thing for market for Schoolhouse on Tuesday. It's not for the public. It's for the industry, people who go to schoolhouse. I mean, that go to market. And I go, oh my gosh, it's in there. And it wasn't. It was fresh new toys for me to show the store owners, excuse me. So we're going to do two things today, you guys. One other thing. I'm sitting here thinking, what am I going to do next? I've been asked. I think I have something up my sleeves. I've got to talk to a couple people today to see if we can make it work. And I am also going to, I think I'm going to be working with one of Edita's collections that's blue and white. So we have to wait to get that in too. I'm pretty excited about it. It's not kind of like this, but kind of like this, but it's going to be basically stars and what you can put in their bellies. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I got to make sure it can all come together first, all right? The other thing is it is hotter than the hinges of HELL. So I know I've got to get this thing sewn together. I just hope I can stay cool enough in my studio. You know it's hot when I have a sleeveless cotton dress on. So I'm going to show you a trick on how to piece things without slippage, which I just discovered on this weekend. And I called up my girlfriend. I said, am I the only one in the world that doesn't know to do this? She goes, oh, I didn't know to do this. So I will show you that after I talk about piecing this thing together. All right. So you can see the center is out because I am working on my blanket stitch. Again, this was a Moda fabric. You can see how that looks. I mean, I would maybe prefer it finished, but this is a down and dirty and fast thing that we're doing, so forget that. Okay, let's talk about over here. First of all, the outside triangles finish at 3 inches. So they were cut at 3 7/8 and then sewn diagonally, and that's what I got here. One of the things I like to do in my quilts is I like it when you've got half square triangles. I like it that the outside edges have a nice, neat square in it. I don't like it when it goes like this. So in order to have a nice, neat square on the edge, at some point within this border, you're going to have to turn the block. So right here, you can see I'm marching down this way. That gives me a nice sharp corner. But then I'm going to turn, thanks, John. I'm going to turn the block right here so that now I can march down in this order, and then this gives me a nice clean corner too. What I like to do, and I didn't pay a lot of attention here, and I'm a little mad at myself. I rarely take this turning corner and put it right in the center. I like to do it irregularly so it kind of tricks the eye. And so here I've turned here, I've turned here, I've turned here, and then down here, I turned here. So think about that when you're putting your border on, all right? That's just, you do it any way you want. I mean, you saw Janet's on Monday, and she just went, great on her border. The other thing is that I learned this from the late Mary Ellen Hopkins. When I am sewing a quilt together, especially when you've got different size shapes and blocks in it, you want to kind of think of neighborhoods. When you sew it together, typically you would just go like straight across and sew it. But in this case, I've got the 4 patches going down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to consider perhaps this a neighborhood, and I'm going to sew it all together. And then I will consider this a neighborhood. That's the border. Then I'll consider this a neighborhood, and then up to here is a neighborhood, and then here's another neighborhood. So that's how I deal with it. And in this case, you're not going to have to deal with any continuous this seam. What it's called, this thing here that we did. You're not going to have to deal with anything like that, but continuous seam. But sometimes when I am sewing these quilts together, I do get into it where I have to do this seam. But it doesn't matter because you learned how to do it on this quilt. It's just a little cumbersome, just a little bit. The other thing where you have to pay attention are when you have, say, points coming together, like here and here, here and here. When I'm sewing this to this, I don't really care. I mean, it just doesn't matter. I don't want to chop these little tips off, but I sew this together. But let's sew this one together and let me show you how I pin. Another thing I do is that I can't remember what I did 10 seconds ago. So I know that this is going to be the top block of this one. So I will take a pin and I will pin it in, going up. Don't fall down, other stuff. And then I know when I go to sew this together, I sew it together and then I can come back and then here we go right here. I know this is on the top. You know, the phone could ring or this or that, you know, things happen. So let me go over to my second camera. The kids were here playing yesterday. It's so hot. We've got a blow up water slide and I can't find stuff in my sewing room. John and I are like going, where did that selfie stick go? Okay, so this is, let me pull this towards me. Come on, don't freeze up on me, mister. Here we go, right here. Okay, let's just, there we go. So I'm gonna want this point and this point to exactly match up. And I've shown you this before, but it's good to repeat it, okay? So I'm gonna come in the back side of the cross, which is right there. John's looking at the speed. This is my phone, John. It's not yours. I don't think my phone's as good as yours. He's playing with something so that it's not so fuzzy. Huh. You know what? I'm actually going to move to this camera now that we've identified what we're doing here. So what I'm going to do, where did you find that? Oh, he just found the selfie stick. So here we have this little cross right there, okay? Right there. And I'm going to stick the pin in, and then I'm going to turn it over and make sure it is exactly coming out in that cross. And it is, right? Then I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to go right in here, and I'm going to hold it. Let me see. I got to move this way. There we go. Truly expensive cameramen are at work here. Okay. And then let me get my thumb out of the way. Come on. Let me joggle back and forth, and that might bring it back. Why does it freeze? There we go. Okay, beautiful. So there it is in there, all pushed all the way. Uh-oh, see that pin? It's bent. Bye-bye. Don't even bother with bent pins. 1/16 of an inch before, going through all these layers. Okay. 1/16 of an inch after. And then, I think I showed this way back in the day, because there's no way for me to open it up and check, I'm going to extend my stitch length to something really big, and I'm just going to sew that center part, all right? And I'm going to hang on to this pin, all right? And some people pull out the pin, but I leave that pin in until I get right there when I went into it. So, suspense. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, let me just cut it. Say a little prayer. And if it's not right, it's not going to be a big deal to just pick that out and do it again. So, oh, I can certainly live with that. Now, I will show you if I were being really picky, I didn't nail it on this side here. You can see where it doesn't go exactly to that point, but apparently it didn't bother me enough to not take it out. So now I'm going to go do my regular stitch length and line this up. Okay, I may, here we go, right in here. Is that thing threaded? No. You know why I call this the sport of quilting. You know, there we go. And how many years did it take me to learn that needle threader? There's some machines on the market where you just don't even touch it and it does the whole dang thing for you. And that's pretty awesome. Especially when you're getting into multiple thread changes. I know how to use mine. I'm gonna go right over that. Okay, cut. Let's see what's going on. Should be right. Yes. Okay, now let's talk about what's going on here pressing, all right? You have here 6 seams coming together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, if I were to press to one side, you're gonna have an outie belly button like there's no tomorrow, no matter which side you press to. So when I have 6 or more seams together, what I will do is I will press open and do that. Now, when all the biases are sewn up and all that, come on, baby, there we go. I will press it open. And when I'm pressing open, I'm pressing from the wrong side and I'm using my finger as my holder downer as the iron comes up, okay? There are some tools on the market that you can, kind of like a ham or something like that, that you can help press these things open. Once I have pressed it open, then I will turn it over and I will press the other side. Now, mind you, again, this is when it's 6 or more seams coming together. Ow, outie. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is this. We made a trillion of these, and you make a trillion of these half square triangles. Let me get it lined up. So what happens is, I mean, there's really nothing you have to pin because I'm going to go on a 1/4 inch on this side and a 1/4 inch on this side. But what happens is, I'm telling you, this stuff slips and it makes me crazy. Probably all of you do this anyways, but I'm just going to take my little glue stick and I'm going to just dump a little glue there within the 1/4 inch seam allowance area. It's going to hold it. And then when you come down to the bottom, even if you're using a stiletto, well, unless you're Sally Collins, of course, it will slip. You know, here's your stiletto. So I thought, what the heck? Why not? Do it. Put a little bit of glue in there. And it doesn't shift. So, oops. Let me get that back on there. So let's just see, let's give the pudding a test or whatever it is. All right. Here we go. I'm watching a new show. Oh, came unthreaded again. I'm watching a new show. It's something Magnolia on Netflix. It's very lighthearted. If you have had enough of the blood and guts, things you can watch, I would suggest Magnolia. My daughter, something Magnolia. I'm going to go back because it didn't pick stitches. Okay, there we go. It's fun. kind of like the Heart of Dixie. That's another one. It's really fun. Now I have to sew the other side. So what I'm going to do is I come like this. I pull my thread and down I go. Oh, someone the other day then emailed me and said, why didn't you engage your dual feed? And I said, I was engaged. Well, guess what? I went to take it off today, that foot, to do this one. And no, it was not engaged. So practice what I say, not that I do. There we go. And let's just see how the slippage went. I can live with that quite easily. I can live with that. Come on, turn around. Quite easily. And then again, I'll just cut it with my rotary cutter and then press it. This case, I'll probably press it to the green. All right. So here's the thing, you guys. We have a lot of work ahead of us, unless you're already done with your quilt. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We've got to do our applique. We have to do piecing of the borders and piecing the blocks together and all that. And then what I'm going to do on Friday, I was thinking about this. I think I'm going to show you how I based it with that powder stuff of mine, that free fuse that Judy was talking about yesterday. I think I can handle that with the camera. So going forward, that's what we're going to do. I don't know when I can tell you exactly what we're going to do after this. And I'm trying to figure out like maybe a very small project that, you know, like I don't know what, something like for a week while we all do something else. If you have some suggestions of what you would like me to teach, I would really appreciate it. Go to my Facebook page and just put it in Messenger. And if it's something I can teach, I will teach. But I'm looking forward to a more long-term project like this one, because I don't know about you, it kept me really, really busy and happy. Are all your feet for the 700 dual feed? I have the same machine, but many feet are not. No, all the feet are not dual feed. And I think, I'm not sure, you have to, I think there's special purchases, but I really don't know. Oh, and last, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I know that it was a very heavy Bernina. This is how I do it on my machine when I was doing my machine applique. Bottom line is, you're going to find yourself an open toe that's whatever machine you use, and if you can, possibly move the needle all the way to the right hand side. And in essence, then you're all set and ready to go. We got some questions. Do I use the two pins, 2 fork pins? I don't. I have them, and I got them because I thought I would. I think I like a little more control than that. And I don't. Do you guys? I don't know. Let's see. Future topic. Show us how you're going to quilt the sequoia. Well, see, that's another problem. I don't know. I might take it to Diane's. But I can talk about how I quilted this one if you'd like. I'm thinking about not doing something quite as intense as this one was on the right hand side, because yeah, it was intense. So I can talk about that too. Okay, that gives me another day. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. Let's see. Do you sell the needles I use? I'm pretty sure we have some in the TQS quilt shop, but Suzanne and Kristen know that, and I know pins is what I'm thinking you're saying, the pins I use. Yes, I'm pretty sure we do have them in there, and I'm not quite sure what brand they are. Quilter Select's developing some that are wonderful. Of course we are. We're working on some really cool stuff, you guys. Love some info on your improv freestyle quilts and how you do it as opposed to moving the needle how do you use a single hole throat plate and move the needle all the way to the right? Not successfully. It will break. And that's what I said on Monday. If you, here's the thing. And I've done it, okay? I've done it. When you're doing the blanket stitch or any jazzy stitch, you need the wide opening there. If you are on a fancy machine, and I don't care what brand it is, your area here is probably wider than other ones. Like for instance, my older Berninas, it's a 5 millimeter. This is a 9, and I think things like Brother and Janome and all that, I think they're 7s. I'm not 100%, but as soon as you get over 5, you're going to want to consider getting a single hole throat plate for your piecing, because I find that this just causes too much havoc with the, in fact, somebody said, why is my fabric going down in? And I said, my guess is number 1, you don't have a single hole throat plate, or number 2, your needle is dull. And it's funny because I was stitching something the other day here and I'm like going, ooh, that doesn't look good. And I'm thinking it's time to change the needle, because you know you're supposed to change them all the time, and why we don't, I don't know. If applique crosses over blocks, do you quilt first? You can, okay? You can quilt first. That's what I did wrong on this one, was I waited to quilt it until all the applique was on, and then I decided to do really skinny a straight line quilting, so I had to start every single time. So I have gotten in the habit that if I'm going to do straight line quilting and there's a lot of applique and stuff like that, I will quilt it first. I mean, this is not going to go into a show to win ribbons. It's a knock it out quilt, all right? That's why I'm thinking on this one, I'm going to do something like soft curvy lines across the whole thing, or I'll have Diane do that. I haven't decided yet. I'm still waiting for my Q20, so I'm kind of waiting for that. That's why I think I might just be calling to a halt after I baste it. So I don't know why it's not here yet. I know. John, do you have any other questions? Here's the thing, again, send it to my Facebook page and then I can address it. Message me and then I can address it, all right? So, do I have a favorite weight and brand for piecing? Oh yeah, well see, you're walking into it right here. I love my Quilter Select. I always on the bobbin have my 80 weight. It is a polyester and it is super, super fine, but it acts and plays like cotton, and I even can hand bind with this 80 weight. It's strong enough. And then when I'm piecing, I put my 60 weight on top, which is thinner than the 50 weight you're probably enjoying. And of course the 80 weight is even that much thinner. And so what's happened since I've switched to the 60 weight and the 80 weight at the bobbin, my accuracy has stepped up tenfold. I honestly, I was kind of shocked, to tell you the truth. It's stepped up tenfold. And remember, now if you go watch Judy's presentation today, you got another 24 hours to do it. She goes through a lot of this really great stuff that can enhance your quilting experience. Thanks, John. Width and length of stitch. I'm assuming for the blanket stitch, I just go with default. And on my machine, it is 2.60 wide, and I don't know how long it is. I think and 1.1 long. I just go with default because it's raw edge applique. If it's finish applique, that's a whole nother bag of monkeys, okay? It's raw edge applique. Size of needle for applique. For machine applique, my go-to is an 80 top stitch, all right? But if I am using a really fine thread on top, like my 80 weight on top, which I have, I might have to go down to a 70 because the thread is so fine, it pops around the hole too much in the 80. The other thing is when I put the 80 weight on top, I slow down the speed a little bit. All right, but this 80 weight is great because you can do so many things with it, as is the 60. But I just didn't think you could get thread that fine, excuse me, and still have decent results. Judy who? Judy Fredenberg is a partner of crime. Rochelle, you can go back and watch it if you missed it yesterday. Judy Fredenberg is a partner in crime with me when it comes to Quilter Select. Before all this started happening, we would go to a few select stores a year. She travels all the time for R&K, but I can only get out so much, or they'll only take me out so much. And we really play well off of each other because we're kind of like Mutt and Jeff together. I mean, it's just great, you know. So she, rather than me present, I wanted her to present because she brings something completely different to the table. And I'm bringing to the table what I'm teaching you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, so now, aren't you guys smart? Am I going to blanket stitch on the stems? Let me see what I did. Let me see what I did over there. I think I did. Let's see. Yeah, I did. I blanket stitched on those stems. And these stems, well, my stems over here are even thinner. You know, if you had to take it a little bit skinnier, it's not going to be the end of the world. But again, this is raw edge applique. Do you have a quilt designs for certain, do you have go-to quilt designs for certain blocks? No, I don't. I have a whole lecture on, and maybe we can do that. Maybe I could do, if I could figure out how to get my PowerPoint up here. Maybe we'll do that on how I choose quilting design. Do you guys want to do that? That we could do that next week, like say on Monday and Tuesday, because it's like an hour long. I mean, Monday and Wednesday, and that'll kill 2 days while I'm still figuring out what we're going to do next. And it's what I learned from a woman named Lucy Hilty, who was a Mennonite quilter. And hey, John, can I get my PowerPoint on here? Yes. We're going to do that. Okay, we're going to do that. And I believe it's what I was supposed to be presenting in Paducah. So yay, you get to see it for free. So, okay, yay. That's what we're going to do. It probably will be in 2 parts, if not 3. So yay. Okay, hotter than the hinges of you know what outside. Yes, it is. So stay cool or stay dry. It always floors me, all the different weathers going on in the United States. And then when you think about worldwide, you know, it could be here horribly hot and then over there freezing. So what do you do with that? So stay cool, stay warm, stay dry, go for your walk, etc. And help me pass the word about the quilting design. We'll start that on Monday, all right? I'm so excited. And what I'm going to be sharing with you are truisms that have stood the test of time from the late Lucy Hilty and what she taught me and how it goes from the most traditional all the way up to what is going on contemporary now. Yay. Have a good day, you guys. Thanks so much for joining in. See ya.